Okay, this is the second week of looking at social class and educational achievement, looking at the external factors. This week we're going to be looking at material deprivation and why that might have an impact on educational achievement. And then looking at the idea of cultural capital, which stems from Pierre Bourdieu's ideology. There's your keywords and terms that you need to know about this week. Material deprivation then is basically the idea about poverty and a lack of material necessities, and that could be anything from decent housing, food, stuff like that, all the way through to specifically educational stuff, which might be pens and other kind of equipment. The idea of material deprivation, of poverty, is very closely linked to educational underachievement. So some sociologists say that your social class and the amount of money that you have or do not have has more relevance than what we discussed last week, which was cultural deprivation. Just some statistics for you there then. So FSM, free school meals, just under 40% of all children who are getting free school meals achieved 5 A-star to C's. That's compared to nearly 2/3 of students who were not getting free school meals who achieved the same kind of grades. So this suggests that those getting free school meals achieved lower. Those who were on free school meals, only 34% of them went on to get a level 3 qualification, so that's an A level or a level 3 BTEC, compared to nearly 60% of those who did not have free school meals. Flaherty believes that money has a major impact and a factor in non-attendance, and non-attendance is a significant impact on achievement, ability to achieve, but also links in with labelling as well. So if someone's constantly off school or college or whatever, then they're going to be labelled negatively by the teachers. There's also a link between social inequality and lack of money, poverty, and exclusion and truancy, and it's higher for those who are from lower income backgrounds. It's hard to actually get back into mainstream, so the majority of students who actually are excluded or from the school very rarely go back into mainstream education, which makes it very difficult for them to get the GCSEs, etc., to go on and actually do those level 3 courses. Of all of the failing schools, 90% of them are in deprived areas of deprivation, areas of low income, working class areas, a lot of people on benefits and unemployed. So that obviously, it's a double disadvantage that the schools are failing. But is that because of the area they're in, or is the area they're in because they have failing schools in them? Quite an interesting question. So the first thing that we're going to look at with regards to material deprivation is housing. And the housing has a direct and an indirect impact on educational achievement. The direct one is the fact that it stops you from actually, doing things such as homework and also learning. So, if you have overcrowding, so as the picture shows there, overcrowding within the area you live, but also within the house that you actually live in, you might have overcrowding. So you might have to share your room with one sibling, or maybe it's more than one sibling. That's going to make it really difficult for you to do homework and to read peacefully and quietly. Play with toys which are educationally stimulating and things like that. Also, there might be a lack of play space, so parks and places to play football and things that are really going to exercise your mind and really help you in your development. And also the idea of temporary accommodation, so this idea that you might have to change schools quite regularly because you're in temporary accommodation, such as B&Bs, because you can't afford to own your house, or you fall behind on rent, so you get evicted and you have to move around. This is really difficult for children to have the stability where they can start to learn and feel comfortable, make friends and understand the teachers, and for the teachers to understand what they're like as a student as well. It has a really a direct impact on them. In terms of indirect effects, then it has health impacts in that the poor quality of housing that you live in, it might be damp, it might be cold, not very well sealed. The windows might be single glazed, so it's very cold and it's hard to sleep. You don't get a very good night's sleep. This has a major impact on illness, and also that impacts on your attendance. So you have a lower attendance, so you're not going to be learning as much. And also the welfare of the children as well. It has psychological distress. If you're having to move around school to school, then you're going to fear being bullied or the new kid all of the time, and it has real impact. And then education seems and comes across as a very negative experience for these children, and as a result don't want to go to school. The second thing that material deprivation kind of focuses on is the diet and health. And Howard's looked at some studies and has come up with the idea that young people who are from poorer backgrounds tend to have lower energy levels through less vitamins, poorer diet, things like that. And because they have lower energy, then it means they're not concentrating at school, or they're not sleeping very well on a night time, and so it means that they're either not going to school, possibly because of illness, etc. And but when they are at school, they're not paying attention. This has a major impact on attendance, energy, and obviously concentration. If you have a weak immune system, then you're going to have a low attendance, and you need vitamins and good, healthy food to boost your immune system. Wilkinson's looked into this, and in a study of 10-year-olds found that lower social classes, there was a higher rate of hyperactivity, anxiety, and conduct disorder. And this was very much based on their diet, so the types of food they were eating, ready meals, lack of fruit, lack of fresh vegetables, a lack of sunlight as well, water, things like that. And that has a direct impact on their ability to, if you're hyperactive or you suffer from anxiety, you're going to really struggle to take things in at school, and chances are you're going to be in trouble quite a lot as well. So again, the stigma that's going to be attached to you is that you're a troublemaker, you're always off, and that's going to have a major impact on your educational achievement. The last thing that we're going to look at is money itself. Bull has put forward this idea that actually, we have free schooling now because of the comprehensive system. We have free schooling, and everyone gets the same schooling under the same national curriculum. But there's actually a cost attached to free schooling, and not everyone has the same amount of money, so they have the same amount of experiences or the ability to get the brand new equipment. So this could be going things like trips, visits to museums, galleries that cost money. Tanner believes that those from poorer families, the cost of transport, books, etc. is a heavy burden on them, and sometimes they may have to take a decision to remove one of them. So if it's a transport thing, you might end up having to go to a school which is more local, but maybe isn't as good for you as you want. Or if your parents want you to go to these better schools, it means that maybe they can't afford to send you on these trips to art galleries or to take up a musical instrument because they can't afford to buy it. So there's a social inequality when it comes to money there. Poorer children tend to rely on hand-me-downs or old, cheaper equipment. This could lead to bullying. I've quite possibly told you the story about me and my Adidas Gander Stripe, where I walked into school with a pair of trainers that my mum bought us from I don't know, Shields Market or the Quayside Market or something like that when I was a kid, and I just got the mick taken out of us because of the shoes that I had on. And this has a major impact as well on your ability. It's going to be, again, school's going to be a fearful place if you're being bullied for the slightest things, such as what clothes you wear or where you get your hair cut or things like that. So you're not going to want to attend. So impact on attendance, impact on concentration, and that's going to have a negative effect. Ridge and Flaherty have carried out studies, obviously. Ridge carried out a study and found that students responded that they really wanted to fit in and were fearful that if they didn't have the latest things, they could be bullied as a result. So when interviewing like a 12-year-old during Ridge's study, found that the kind of words that this 12-year-old was using was about fitting in. People take the mick out of you, I can't get any decent clothes, my trainers are knackered, need some new trainers, things like that. But also, actually, when you do get help, students are fearful of it. You don't want hand-me-downs, you certainly don't want your mason on your hand-me-downs. And in terms of the free school meals, 20% of those who are eligible for free school meals don't take them because they don't want to be seen as being one of those children who the parents don't have much money and they get free handouts. And that could be the difference between eating a nutritious meal and not. And so it depends on the child's actual perception of that help that they can have. Children from lower income families also need to take up more part-time jobs as well. If they don't have much money in the family, then they may need to go and get a job to help families out, bring some extra money in. or they may also have to do it just for themselves. You know, they may need to have that money so they can buy those trainers. Ridge looked at this and found that the types of jobs that people were doing were babysitting and paper rounds, and these are very non-sociable hours. So times where you would have time to do homework or things like that, or spend time doing exercise, you're actually having to babysit for people and do paper rounds, and this is going to be for a real low amount of money, so you might have to do more of it. This also explains possibly why the number of working class leaving school at 16 instead of going on to do A-levels, etc., is that they have this fear of debt, and also the fact that they may need to help their families out by getting a full-time job in McDonald's or a shop or wherever it is. So there's more middle class going on to post-16 education than there is working class. This goes all the way through also into university. Universities that are in socially deprived areas have a higher dropout rate than those that aren't. So for instance, the example that is being used is that Sunderland have a 13% dropout rate per year, whereas Oxford, where 4 in 10 are privately schooled, only will have less than 1.5% of their students drop out. National Audit Office in 2002 also noted that working class students are twice as likely to have to work during university than middle class students such as those who go to Oxford. This puts a great burden on them, and maybe another reason why they don't do as well is because instead of studying, doing the things they're supposed to be doing at university, they're actually having to get more than just a part-time job, maybe having to do 20, 30 hours a week, which is nearly a full-time job if you're doing that amount. So all of these things, all of these material things such as housing, diet and your money have a major impact on your ability to do well at school, but also your ability to stay in education and to achieve at a later date. That's the end of this part of the video. There's a second video, because I couldn't fit it all into 15 minutes, where we'll look at the idea of cultural capital. So yeah, go and watch that video now.